Is up right now. I'll turn the lighting on. First, giving honor to the Most High for waking us up, getting us to bed, blessing us throughout the day, during our travels, during our business, during our whatever, and getting us to this very moment right now. Thank you, Father, for blessing us and keeping us, giving us another chance to live and to be better as time progresses. I am on my way to bed, um, and I'm extremely exhausted. I had a long day, but it was an extremely productive day. Um, about an hour ago, I got back from a dinner of a friend who's celebrating a birthday, and this person is very special um, to me because they mentored me and gave me some sound advice, especially when I needed it. Hey, Thunder, how are you? I hope all is well. Thanks for the like, by the way. So went there, celebrated with them for a little bit. Got home late, of course. Had to fuss with my son to get him to shower and all that good stuff. That's good. I'm glad you're doing well. Um, but earlier during the day, hey, Lady Di, what time is it there? It's 11, so it's going on 8 o'clock there. How you doing? Um, but earlier today's been a trying day. I ain't even gonna hold you. Like these last couple days have been just really, really busy. And I guess it all worked out because I just finished my last class. So I have a week before my next class starts. So I thought that I was going to be able to chill, catch up on my shows, my stories, and sleep and stuff like that. But that's not happening. So I've been kind of preoccupied with a lot of other stuff. You guys know I'm on the board of a couple of private organizations, and I got some other stuff going on. Hey, Mr. I Think for Myself. How you doing? You up? He said, I'm up, I'm up, I'm up, I'm up, I'm up. That's what's up. I'm good. Baby, love your hair. Beautiful. Thank you. I did it myself, Lady Di. It's what do you call it? I crocheted these into my hair. I put some cornrows in and then I crocheted, but my edges are really thin. So like this is about as far as I could come with the crochet. So I know what to do now next time. And the girl said, even on the video that I was trying to copy, she said, "Oh my gosh, this hair is so thick. It's too dense. I should have started from the front. That way I would have been able to gauge." And what did I do? I still started in the back like she did. And I literally had to take out like at least 15 because this stuff was so full, so big. It's lightweight, thank God, because my head wouldn't be able to handle it. And then my son doesn't like it. So he's like, "Ma, why can't you just grow your own hair?" I said, "I'm trying, son." I said, "You don't like it?" He said, "No, I like it when you wear your own hair." He always got something to say. Like, I mean, I appreciate the fact that he likes my hair, but my hair is probably like this long, but when I wear it natural, it shrinks. I have extreme shrinkage. So it looks like my hair is like a short fro. I don't like that look on me. Sorry. So I'm not wearing it like that. A team in the house. A team said, "I'm up. I'm up." How you doing, 18? Lady Di says, boys are like that. At least he didn't say it was horsehair like my brother was saying. Yeah, he knows it's not my hair, so but I try because I'm gonna get it professionally braided before I have to go to my homeboy's wedding in July. So I'm like, what can I do in the meantime? Because me pulling it back all the time isn't healthy either. Because you have to manipulate it every day. And African hair, black hair, African American hair, whatever y'all want to call us, indigenous hair, is very delicate, and even though it looks rough and coarse and it may grow like this coming out of our heads, it is some of the most delicate hair. So you can't comb through it dry. There's just certain things you got to do. So, and I'm lazy and I am extremely impatient. So sometimes I don't take the time. Like when I put my hair back in a bun, sometimes I wet it right quick, slick that mess back, throw a little, I don't even comb the middle of it because the middle of my head is a hot mess. So when y'all see me, my hair just be pulled back. It don't even be combed all the way through. Child. But thank you, Lady Di. I appreciate that. AT says, I'm great. Thanks for asking. What up, Lauren Kraus? Lauren in the building. But today I want to remind you guys, and just so for those of you that don't know, most of the time when I'm on here and I'm talking to you guys, I'm saying things and it may feel like I'm talking at you or I'm trying to tell you what to do, like I'm this big guru of life. No, 10 times out of 10, I'm talking to myself. Okay? I'm talking to me. And I'm just hoping that somebody can get something out of it and maybe be able to apply it to themselves, right? So it's really just a reminder for me. But today, 18, no ma'am. No ma'am. Absolutely not. Lady Di says, I've been wearing 2 French braids all week, but have to rebraid. Daily? Really? Do you tie it down? Because if you tie it down, you shouldn't have to. Oh, well, yeah. When you want to lay down, you want to rebraid it. Yeah, so that it's nice and compact when you're laying down and not all over the place. Yeah, you do it for yourself. Absolutely. That's the whole purpose. Like people are like, why do you start a channel? Why do you have a channel? Da, 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 and everybody has different reasons. I do it for posterity. I do it for um so that it's out there. That way when my son gets older, he can look back and, learn a little bit more things about me that I haven't told him yet that he'll see on here. And then hopefully some of the life lessons that I'm learning myself and talking to myself about and reminding myself, he can gain some insight on it too, you know? But earlier today, um, Lauren says, I hear you. Oh yeah, sweating from the workouts. Yeah, you gotta braid it. Um, Earlier today, I had to advocate, and I felt like I was advocating for myself. What up, couch? And but it was for somebody else, right? But one thing my mom always told me, she always told me, if a person says no, or if they say no, and you really want it, and you feel like you deserve it, don't take no for an answer. My mom always taught us that, right? You go into a building, you go into a job, or organization, or something like that, and the answer is no. Guess what? No is not always the final say so. You got to try and try and try. So today, I ended up talking to the regular person on the phone, customer service, They said, no, this is all we can do. And I'm like, this can't be it. I said, well, respectfully, ma'am, is there a way that I can speak to your supervisor? And she said, well, I'm actually the supervisor in this department. And I said, you're the supervisor. And I've already talked to this other person, and they told me no, that there's nothing you can do. I said, but surely you have a boss, because if you can't do what I'm asking you to do, if you can't make an exception to the policy based on your position, then there has to be somebody over you that can override what you say you can't do. So I need to speak to that person. And she said, I do. Cooter Wolf, that is a funny name. And no, I'm not going to quit yapping. You can always just scroll up. Proud Black Woman says the government needs to give Dracos and bottles of Hennessy to children. The freaks come out at night. The freaks come out at night. So she said, let me see. Let me see if my supervisor is available. I said, thank you so much. That's okay. Shit's about to go down. Love that. So, she puts me on hold, brings me to her supervisor, who sounded just as young, if not younger, than her. I was like, oh, I'm going to be talking to a millennial. They're not going to be able to help me, but I'm hopeful. So I got on the phone and I explained the whole story again. I gave her I didn't even give her a chance to speak. I took that opportunity to lay everything on the line, everything that I was accomplishing. I explained to her how this was a exigent circumstance and that you've done this before for other people. I know for a fact. So there's something you got to do. I know you can do it. And I said, from one human to another, I need you to reach into your heart and consider what I'm telling you. I know the deadline was missed, but the deadline was missed because of these issues, which could not be helped under any circumstance. Is there a way that you can make an exception? I am asking you. And she said, let me see what I can do. Can you hold for a moment? All you need is a college degree to be a supervisor nowadays. Yeah, yeah, I listen, it be like that. It used to be where as long as you had the experience and you've been there for years, you could be a supervisor. But nowadays they want all kind of degrees and certifications just for you to do regular work. Yeah, millennials do hate to talk on the phone, but when it's their job, honey. So anyway, she came back. Now, mind you, this is the fourth person, because I actually started this conversation yesterday. Was it yesterday? No, the emergency happened today. Who did I talk to yesterday? They had me on hold and never. No, this was all today. So this was literally the fourth person that I spoke to. The first person who claimed she was a supervisor, I'm giving her the spiel, the whole breakdown. And next thing I know, I didn't hear her on the phone no more. And I'm like, hello, 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 hello. If you can hear me, here's my number. Call me back. Never heard from her. I had to go to a meeting. Was going 2 hours. Nobody ever called me back. So when I got home and the situation got worse than it was before, I said, okay, I got to figure this out. So I just remember what my mama taught me. Don't take no for an answer. If you do all you can and don't take no for an answer, see what happens and let God's will happen. And she came back, y'all, and she said, okay, I'm going to make this one time exception. I said, oh, God, thank you. Thank you so much. I said, you are a godsend. And she even went as far as to say, you know what? I'm going to handle this case moving forward. I don't even want you to call back and deal with these people. Call me. And as a matter of fact, when you go and handle all of this business to make sure that everything, because she said this is just a temporary thing. On the 5th, everything is going to go back to before. So you got to handle all of this stuff by the 5th. I said, I got you, Miss Alyssa. And she said, I'm going to tell you what to do and I'm going to tell you what to say. And then I need you to, and I was just like, yo, turns out her husband is a veteran or he's active duty and she's expecting a baby. And I said, I pulled on your heartstrings, didn't I? I said, you pregnant. I said, that's why you helping me out. And she just started laughing. But at the end of the day, really, we just have to advocate for ourselves, especially when we know that something, especially when you know you're doing it for a righteous reason and you know that what you need is not out of a want or just a mere desire, but a necessity in order to live. You need these things done. When it comes to stuff like that, sometimes you just can't take no for an answer. You were insensitive. No experience necessary, just a paper degree. Gosh, I know that's right. Don't send me no text after 7 p.m. I started something in a group chat at 3 this afternoon and it's 11 and these people are still texting. What? And we all in the same city. And 85% of the people out of the 18 are over 50. Why are we still texting this late? That's right. 5 souls in the stream. Couch, don't get me started on that dead stare, that my son does that. I'll ask him something and he'll just, and I'm like, why are you giving me that dumb Gen Z stare? So now I think he just does it on purpose to annoy me. He does it now because he knows it's a trigger for me. That little, great to hear, Mo. Your kindness coming back to you. Yeah, I try. That's right. You can't give up, especially when you know it's something that's really, really needed and you know for a fact that it's been done before in the past. Like, there's a reason why the term is called exception to policy, because there's an exception to every rule, there's an exception to every policy. Why am I getting all of these text messages right now? Nobody texts me between like 5 and 11, and now I literally just got 4 text messages from 3 different people. 2 out of the text chat that I'm talking about. 11:09, and it ain't no booty call. Otherwise, I wouldn't be that pissed. Yes, wonderful. What up, the battle zone? What it do, King Amir? How you doing? Look at 3 a.m. Power down this phone. Look at TIQS. So yeah, y'all. There's an exception to every policy. So when you know you really need something, just don't give up. That's all I'm saying. Don't give up. Don't just take the first no for an answer. There's always somebody that reports to somebody else. You get bad customer service, you get bad feedback on something, somebody's doing something foul, you take it up the chain, because guess what? The person you're dealing with has to report to somebody else. Oh, you just woke up? Yeah, so just don't take no for an answer, you know? No means no now. Now, I'm not saying in all circumstances. I don't want nobody to take this the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? You keep pushing up on that one person and they didn't telling you no. I'm not saying what I'm saying is, you know what I'm saying. But you know what? Ask to speak to the manager most absolutely. When you're not getting what you need and it's necessary and you know you in the right and you know it's possible, take it up the chain. I am not battle zone, but I think my sign is close. Can you guess what sign I am? Based on my personality? No, means no, my brother. Are you deaf in your ears, sucker? Do y'all remember that song? That song is from like either the early 90s or the 80s. A female rap group, but I cannot remember which ones. And it wasn't Salt and Pepper. Sorry, my allergies. So I got. But you know, when you, there's always going to be somebody out there that's going to allow Satan to use them. There's always one. So a lot of times we got to be careful about the things that we share with others because when you put it out there, people are going to try to burst your bubble or make you feel bad for doing the right thing. So basically, after I had won that little battle, thanks, Battle Zone, I went to the birthday dinner thing. And there was another gentleman there that I know. And we were just chatting, talking about my day. And I think I mentioned the situation that I was handling. And he says to me, "You're still dealing with that neighbor?" And I'm like, "Yeah, he ain't DEAD yet." Yeah. And he said, "Ugh," he said, "Can I ask you something?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "What do you get out of helping this person?" I said, "What do you mean? What do I get out of it?" He was like, "Do you get like some sort of like satisfaction or?" And I said, "Well, to be honest, I sat back and thought about my intentions as far as why I'm kind of going above and beyond to help this particular person." I said, "But the man lives right next door to me. Like, I'm not going to sit there and watch an elderly person with no family die when they don't have nobody else." So he started to try to make me feel guilty or bad for giving a helping hand. And the whole time I'm thinking, what the fuck is wrong with you? And he was like, "I done a whole lot of work to get where I am. And I'ma enjoy the last bit of my life. I ain't got time to be helping nobody but me." And I said, "Well, yeah, you should be helping you first. But if you have the energy and the capacity, I think you probably should. Maybe." "Yeah, they will, Diana. What up, half hawk, half man?" He can't get it no matter what you say. And they won't. And this is why you don't argue with fools, which I refuse to do. I'm actually getting so much better at that. I used to get triggered by so many things. I'm not letting that happen anymore. I'm moving past that. And God is revealing every single day how stronger I'm getting because my ego is like, "Ooh, respond. You could say this. You could just," but nope. And it's actually getting easier. And I'm not feeling that blood boiling inside of me that is tearing at me because my ego wants to respond in a way that wouldn't be ladylike or nice or godly or Christ-like. But we gotta remember we are dealing with a lot of people. There you go. Not everyone has the capacity mentally or emotionally. And I understand that. And I believe that everybody shouldn't help other people because if you haven't taken care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all of that is really going to be hard for you to even make a real impact in somebody else's lives because you're not working on yourself first. So, yeah, there are exceptions to that too. But if you're not able to, don't you ever tell another person that they shouldn't be doing it depending on what that situation is. If that person has the capacity and they're doing it for the right reasons and they're not doing too much, and maybe he saw me as somebody that was doing too much. Maybe he was like, yo, you're doing a lot. But guess what? I'm not doing it alone. Our other neighbor on the other side of him, she gave him $50. And I was like, "Oh, Miss such and such gave you $50." She was like, "Yeah." He was like, "I was low on cash and I needed some food." And she said, "I know what you're going through, and I just wanna." I was like, "See, it takes a village. Ooh, it takes a village." So I'm not doing it alone. We got other people coming from the agency that's gonna help us out. You know what I'm saying? But in the meantime, I'm not gonna let certain things happen. I just I just can't. And the thing is, the person that said this, I know them a little bit, and they not really the type. They be, but they not really the type to really just sit back and because I've seen them help people. So it's just like, why would you tell me that when I know I done seen you go above and beyond for people? You know what I'm saying? So that was a crazy part for me. But I wasn't about to sit there and argue with nobody. I can't do that. But yeah, he can't get it no matter what you say. And Pastor Hale was talking about this tonight during the Bible study online. I was listening on the way back from the dinner, and he had made 3 points, and he was talking about that as far as, there's only so much, that you can do to get through to people, you know, and that at some point you have to test the spirits of others, right? The most basic way is basically whatever they're saying or doing, you just measure it against the Bible. And if the Bible says the opposite, then they're out of the spirit, right? But sometimes you don't even have to do that because all you got to do is just listen to what a person is saying. And that'll tell you right then and there if they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, whether you should take their advice or not. I already knew his advice wasn't going to work in my situation. So I didn't even entertain it for very long. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes I just think it's mind boggling that, especially when a person is doing good, that's when a person would decide to not be of service or help to somebody else. you know? You don't try to be of help when you got a half empty cup. Your cup is empty, but now that your cup is running over, that's when you decide to be selfish? That's backwards, right? So I don't even have to test the spirit on that. I already know I don't think that's right. Thanks, Lady Di. And I'm trying not to divulge much about it. I'm just letting God work and do its thing. But I felt like it was important to say just to give encouragement for others that do have the capacity, that do have the time, the energy, um, and any abundance in a certain area, whether it be service work or um, a big heart, um, and you're able to. Um, it's okay to use it on other people, you know? Again, we just have to make sure that our intentions are in the right place, that we're not doing it for validation, we're not doing it um, because we want somebody to like us, we're not doing it for, all of those people pleasing reasons. We're doing it out of the kindness of my heart because it's needed. And there literally isn't anybody else that can take care of it right now. Yeah, Lauren, everybody does not have the capacity mentally and emotionally. That's why we have to know ourselves. Knowledge of self is so important. Knowledge of self isn't just about knowing our history and our, ancestry. It's about knowing who we are on the inside, and where we are in life and all of those capacities, and what we need to be doing to get better. Yeah, some people have horrible anxiety. Absolutely. Hello. Scott says, just trying to find a streamer with an ostomy. Are you being funny or for real? Type in ostomy and you'll find a bunch of people, and then see if any of them live, and then good luck. Good. You should have called me. Shoot. What was that? October, when I had that dang on urine bag, that dang on what you call that catheter. You should have called me then. We could have had show and tell up in this mug. A Team says you have to be soulless to watch someone suffer during the end of life. And that's the thing, A Team. You don't have much time left. I know it. You know how they say there's all those signs, those end of stage signs. He's got 3 out of the 4 classic signs. I ain't gonna say what they are, but he's been doing all of them. And I even told that to his family a month ago. I said, if y'all can deal with him for just, he ain't gonna be here. Listen, y'all need to come together. Nope. And do you know none of them have called to check on him? I think that's also why I have a big heart for him, because doesn't have anybody. And just to watch that before my very eyes is like, wow, this really does happen. Like, there really are people out there that family has just really given up on them, and I've never seen it up hand and up close like this before. That's right, half man, half hawk. The Holy Spirit helps us to control our egos. You have to call on him when a lot of times when I'm going through that, where I just feel like I have to respond in a negative way or lash back or give the same energy that was given to me, I literally sometimes have to go inward and say, God, help me to just die to my ego. Please help me, because I'm trying to be better. I already do enough other bad stuff. I can't keep adding on to the stuff that I got so much stuff I gotta change, y'all. Yes. Put him between two angels, yes. Thank you, A Team. We need all the prayers we can get. It's just not easy. John 15:18, Jesus said, if the world hates you, know that it has hated me before it hated you. That's true, Battle Zone. And that's one thing I realized too. And that's what helps me too, Battle Zone. When people say crazy stuff, either to me to trigger me, right? Because they want me to get to their level. Or I have people that will discourage you from doing what is necessary for somebody. It's because they're unhealed and they're not really happy the way they claim they are, you know? because it comes out in their words and their actions. And I just think to myself, you got some stuff you got to. I'm gonna let you have that because you coming from a place of hurt, bruh. Can we learn that much from a world that crucified a perfect man? Yeah. Same A team. I'm trying to learn to master that. Not letting my face tell it or my body language. And that's something I continuously teach my son, that emotional regulation, um, and that emotional intelligence. Um, because communication is what was it that I read? Is 90% nonverbal, because you can say anything, but your face and your body language will tell a different story. That's why people are able to pick up on when another person is lying or if what they are saying um, doesn't match with their face. And yeah, so a lot of times people would rather let it show on their face rather than having to say it. Because sometimes we can get away with it just with our facial expression, or that's an opportunity for the person to notice, you said that, but, and then it kind of opens up the door for there to be more dialogue. So I mean, there's a reason why nonverbal communication is good. Thanks, Silas. I'm sure she's pretty as well. Reciprocity, that's right. Owen Fawcett says Proverbs 25:24, better to live on the corner of a roof than to share a house with a nagging wife. I know that's right. Nagging wife, grumbling woman, something like that, right? Absolutely. That's why you see a lot of these people going home. They don't be wanting to go home. It's 5 o'clock. It's rush hour. Why are you driving so slow? And my first thought always be, they ain't trying to go home. I need you to get over because I got somewhere to be, but you driving hella slow. And I know you ain't going to work. You coming home from work, but you driving slow. Some people ain't trying to go home. What up, Upward Man? Yep, this MOP in the place to be. Lady Di says, I figured he didn't have much more time. He been praying for his soul. Yep, thank you. I don't want to talk about it no more. I don't. There's just so many signs. I can't. You just imagine. Just imagine. Just use your imagination and think about everything that I've, divulged so far about him. All of that. It's me. A team. I guarantee the family will come for his material goods after he transitioned. A team. You have no idea. They already took his car, and I'm going to leave it at that. What up, good game? Make a habit of going to church. I'm slowly changing. There you go, Ravila. That's what's up. And to think to myself, what a wonderful life. And it is, right? Oh, I heard the best saying today. Ah, I should have wrote it down. but it had to do with living. Was it what Pastor Hale said tonight, A-Team? About learning and living? And I think somebody in the chat said, if you're not learning, you're not living, right? Because we learn until the day we die. We should want to be learning and getting better and learning something new up until the day we die. Lady Di says, when I chat with you, I'm not always in a good place, but just knowing you are there brightens my disposition. Hey, ditto. Ditto. And I'm so sorry I didn't get a chance to respond to you. I know you sent me some pictures. I have not had a chance. Listen, Lady Di, when I say, you know, I love you. A-Team says, I sometimes wish I can be mean and nasty as some folks. I feel I'm too forgiving. Yeah. Because you know what? Sometimes they need it. Sometimes you got to just call a thing a thing. Sometimes, and you may feel bad afterwards, but sometimes some people just needed to hear it. Sometimes some people just need a lashing right quick, real quick, just nothing major, nothing drawn out, just cut them down with and then let it go. You know what I'm saying? I think sometimes, just like when Jesus flipped over the table, right? Sometimes we all just, and I'm not at all comparing myself to Jesus, okay? Or us as humans. I'm just saying, if Jesus, who's perfect, can get riled up enough to flip a table and tell some people so that people can get sometimes people just need to get it. And sometimes you got to meet them where they at for a moment so they can see, number one, how it feels. And number two, they need to know you serious. We can't meet everything with mild meekness. No, sometimes you got to, and I think God puts that in us at a moment to handle it at that time for that particular person. I'm just saying. If I'm wrong, tell me. Blinky Minky. I'm Brett from Australia, and God is good. Hey, Brett from Australia. I don't know the OC accent. I don't know. Half hawk, half man. Well, on the plus side, I won $96 on a scratcher today. Hey, bought myself a steak dinner. That's what's up, half hawk, half man. I hope it was good. Stop saying he doesn't have anyone. He has you and your neighbor. You guys are somebody. Yeah, I told him that today because he got frustrated and mad when we were looking through some of his paperwork. And he was like, my family, they ain't family. If I see them, I was like, Stan. I said, at the end of the day, we don't get to, I said, when we get older, we learn to pick our family. You know what I'm saying? I said, you got me. And we gonna make it happen. What up, Big Nate forever? Blinky Minky, it's not always true. Like, what about when someone has resting beef face? You can't tell if it's a lie or not. Like, if they always have that face and you don't know if they're being honest or not because they always have the same expression. I think sometimes you can't help but to break character. Like, if you have a resting beef face, you know, um, but I think I know what you mean because there's two guys that I dealt with in my past, and I could never tell if they were being serious or not, right? Like, one, it was just like this real, like this smirk, like all the time, and I could never tell if they were joking or if they were being serious about anything. And one, I don't think he could help it. I think that was just his normal face and disposition. The other one, I feel like it was more sinister behind it to keep me on my toes, so to speak. But the first one, I could never tell, and both of these guys were younger than me, and I couldn't tell whether he was being serious or not about pretty much anything, to the point where he had bought tickets. Hey, I think it's Pisces 29. He had bought tickets to come see me, and I thought he was joking. I didn't know he was serious until he that smirk, whatever he had, was gone when he is like, "I bought tickets to come see you." What do you mean? I was planning. I was like, I didn't know. I had no idea because whatever had happened in between that, other things had happened, and I was like, I ain't worried about that. Da, da, da. And so he wasn't able to. He didn't end up coming because I didn't know he was being serious. I think something like that happened twice with this guy, but it's because I didn't know. And I asked for clarity, like, "Are you for real?" And they're like, "Yeah." And it's like, I can't gauge that. And if I can't gauge it, I'm not gonna take it serious. I'm sorry. What up, Kurt? Oh, really, Lady Di, you ain't timed Kirk out? Kurt Bowl. Kurt Bowl. Oh man. Half hawk, half man. You don't reason with ignorant people. We just talked about this. Nah. You can't give them that type of energy. You just either ignore them or you block them. You know? Kurt, be nice. While Kurt's saying racist. That doesn't work. That doesn't work with trolls. But thank you. Half hawk, half man. I appreciate you. Oh, you didn't take notes? Okay, that's okay. Yeah. He had those three main points that he was talking about, but he was definitely talking about testing the spirit. Look at Prince Bud. Hey, Prince Bud, how are you? Did you get moved yet? Y'all moved out of your place and into your new spot? Half Hawk says life feels lighter when we choose to spread joy. Yeah. Yeah. But you can't give what you don't have. So sometimes a lot of us don't have it, especially in today's economy. That's right, Lady Diana. I do. No, actually, Half Hog, no. I haven't had that many fights in my life. And the first time I had a real fight, like a real fight, when I was 16, 16 or no, 16, it was with my younger sister. And she whooped my ass. Now, once I got into the military and started training and started seeing life for what it was, yeah, I got a little stronger. But when I was younger, nah. A Team says, I always tell my children when you are at work, use professional language on coworkers. Do not use profanity because there's a way to cuss them out without cussing, right? There's a way to check somebody like Claire Huxtable used to do without using profanity. And one of the tricks is just to talk real low and look real intense and look them directly in the eyes so they know you ain't. Gets them every time. Okay, you just finished. Good for you. Are you now relaxing? Half Hawk says family is meant to be shelter from the storm, but sometimes it's the storm itself. You preaching to the choir. Half Hawk, half man. You ain't said nothing but a word. Yes, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That's right. That is right. Blinky Minky. I've met people like that. Always have a grin or a smirk. A smirk, that's the better word. Smirk. It's a weird, you know it when you see it. Like, and I can't even make that face because that's not a face that I make normally. It's got to be, you know, and I mean always, and I immediately didn't try. And there are some people that are cool with it. Either they don't notice it or it's not meant for them to notice. But in us, we notice that shit and we know something ain't right. Him buying tickets was maybe part of the deception, or maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Either way, it's a major red flag. The world may never know. Thanks, Lady Di, for timing him out. I saw a random act of human kindness at the bus stop today. It was uplifting. That's nice. What happened? What did they do? What they do at the bus stop? Give somebody some money to get on the bus? Because if so, that's cool. Um, but at the end of the day, we got to accept people for who they are and where they're at, right? Um, it doesn't mean that we have to deal with them. It doesn't mean that we have to condone their BS. But I was listening to somebody one time a while ago, and they were saying one way to get over wanting control over other people and other people's actions is just to have a radical acceptance. And I was like, radical acceptance. I just got to accept that they are who they are. Once you've done all that you can do to help and they just don't get it or they don't want the assistance, you got to let it go. You just got to accept that maybe it's not our job to fix them. We've already given them words of encouragement. We've already prayed for them. We've already helped them out with this and this and this. Now it's up to them to talk to the Most High to get what it is that they need to be better for themselves. Radical acceptance. Just accept them for who they are and keep it moving. And if being around them annoys you or drains you or whatever, keep it moving. One thing I've learned is the older I get, the less I'm learning to have more acceptance, but less tolerance for the BS. Therefore, because I'm grown and I can say yes, no, I don't want to go, I don't want to do da da da, I'm gonna exercise it. When I really truly don't want to do something, I'm not doing it no more. I used to do it because I wanted to be a people pleaser and I want that person to really like me, or I really didn't want to let them down because then what would they think of me? Nope. Like tonight at that dinner, I was gonna stay and help clean up. But I said, I got to get my son out of here. And these people are going to be here for another. And I was like, oh man, but what are they going to think if I leave? And it's like, I'm one of the females, I should be helping clean. Da, da, da. I said, you know what? I don't care. My obligations are to my son and to me. There was literally like 35 people there, plenty of people to help. And I put my son to work to help, you know. So that was my contribution. I used to work with a girl who would say, "My contribution," and I'm like, what is a contribution? What?" And I didn't even bother correcting her. I would ask her questions on purpose so that she would say the word contribution just to make sure I heard that right. Say it one more time. Contribution. Contribution? It's all in the eyes, Blinky Minky. It be all in the eyes, brother. Half Hawk says a young man Helped an elderly lady with all her luggage. The Holy Spirit was alive with him. That's beautiful. Chic Chevin. Oh, I hate that. It's dying down, though. It's dying down. Lincoln says, yeah, don't get caught up in their game. Radical acceptance. Half Man says, living by the law of God in an unlawful world elicits hostility, but we'd rather stand with God and be judged by the world than to stand with the world and be judged by God. That's right. I just read that somewhere else the other day, too. Somebody put that on YouTube in their community post, and I was like, yeah. What up, Mark Witt? So, yeah, y'all. Before I came home, I was when I was driving, I was watching a YouTuber who is saying that they're homeless and living in their car. And I tell you what, it really started to irritate me because I don't know now if these people are doing it because it's like the new wave on here to act like you're homeless when really you're not. But I didn't believe her because I'm like, you have a really nice home in Texas. And literally 3 weeks ago, you was cooking up this extravagant meal. And now we're doing day one in my car and ain't no pillows or blankets in the car. Just, I don't be knowing, man. I don't, listen, I don't trust nothing no more. I don't be knowing if people are genuine. I'm gonna have to assume that 90% of people are not on here. I'm gonna just have to assume. But what bothers me the most is not the grift itself. Well, yeah, it's the grift because you have real people that have empathy and compassion that really be praying for these people and really be sending money to these people. And it's like, if this is all a lie, I mean, in the end, God's going to take care of them, right? I just don't like to see all of that energy and those resources and that time being dedicated to a person who is lying. I just feel like there's so much more that we could do with our time than to get on here and lie. And she could have been telling it. She really could be in that position. She really could be. Just none of it seemed genuine. God loves all repentant. The kingdom is near. Yes, it is. Why don't you sleep till it's late? Half Hawk says, time for me to pack for a trip. Okay, well, you have fun. I enjoy your channel. Okay, well, listen, if you enjoy my channel, Half Hawk, Half Man, you keep on coming back. You ain't got to subscribe, but go ahead and hit the like button for me, okay? Bye for now. James Gallagher, we are not supposed to trust in man, but trust in God alone. That's right. We have to stop putting our trust in man because when we do, guess what? We are sorely disappointed every single time. Every single time. No, these are I don't know what they are. Child, all I know is I'll try something new, okay? And this is what we got. But if you think they locks, yeah, we gonna say they locks. Blinky says, yeah, our heart will deceive us every time, especially with the heart's desires. Yeah, what does God say in the Bible? Guard your heart. We have to guard our heart. It's the most precious thing. And you know what else I noticed too on a lot of these channels And this is why I have to stop watching, because it turns into a thing where I'm just watching them to judge, and not because I'm really interested in their story. I'm just looking at them like shaking my head. So I notice now, if I start thinking negative things about somebody that I'm watching because I think they're lying or because they're not doing what I would do, I stop watching, because I don't want to be, become just like, extremely judgmental. So there's a couple of people I stopped watching because I'm just like, no, every time I watch you, I don't like you like I used to. So let me just stop um before I miss out on my blessing. But one thing I notice about a lot of these people, even in the midst of their turmoil and them being displaced, them living in their car, having to live, or live with family or friends or whoever. Um, Number one thing I notice, because they're now in their car, or because now that they are living with somebody else where they don't have that rent or that mortgage anymore, rather than saving that money, they're now either buying a ton of stuff, or they're eating out all the time. And I understand that when you live in your car, you have to eat out, because where you gonna cook? I mean, some people got the little hot plates and all that, but I guess when you first start now, ain't nobody doing all that. So I understand that, but it be excessive stuff, right? Like the real expensive macchiato, or you know what I'm saying? And every time they come on, it's that. And that stuff adds up, because fast food sucks and it costs more, and everything is smaller. I was at the store and I said, "Oh, they think they slick." Every container of spaghetti sauce was like 2 to 4 ounces smaller. And I said, "These jars didn't used to be this small. Everything is shrinking." But they're doing it at a really, small increments to where people don't notice. But the price of it is either the same or it's gone up. And it's just annoying to see that now you're in this position, rather than stacking. You got the money that's not going here, so now you kind of feel like you have, which everybody has a right, it's free will, free country, you can, but that's not helping your situation. And one of the people needed a, what was it, a car part that cost $1,500. And they were saying, people keep telling me if I stop going to Dunkin', then I can afford that car part. And she's like, this is $6. This is, so that I calculated it. I said, if you go to Dunkin' every day, $6 times 30 is this, times that, times that. All the money you spent on Dunkin's, you literally could have paid for that car part in 2 months' time. You know what I'm saying? So I think it was less than, I think it was like a $900 part or something like that. But it was just like, people don't think like, but it's easy to spend here or there, a little bit here and there, and not think, because you don't see it. But when you calculate it in your head, you know, if you really just deny yourself of that one thing and make it at home. No worries, Barbara Green. You right about that, Blinky Minky. Our hearts can betray us, and it will. That's why a lot of times people say, your heart and your mind should be in sync. When we merge the two and really and seek the advisement of the Most High, that really helps. No, he don't, Blinky. I know he don't wear no damn diaper living in his car. I know you lying. I know you lying. Please don't put his name in the chat, because then I'll go and watch and then I'm gonna be mad at you. Nope, I ain't get caught yet. But that's not what I want to say. And then I'm gonna end with this. The one thing that I notice about these people is that while they're going through these hardships, number one, they don't mention relying on God. That's number one. They might come back later and post something like, hey, pray for me. But when they're on these lives or when they're posting these videos and they're talking about being displaced or going through the struggle, you don't hear any of them say, I've been praying to God for it's really just why me, and this is what's happening, and if you can help. And it's, if I was going through that, and that's what I've learned, is that God wants us to reach out to him in our most, and sometimes people feel really guilty for asking God for help, but he wants us to ask him for help rather than relying on our own wisdom or depending on other people. We need to go to him, and sometimes God will take everybody out of your life just so that you have only him to depend on. And I've been there a couple times, and it's brought me closer to him. But yeah, that's one thing that I noticed missing. And another thing is, a lot of times too, these people are still concerned with having intimate relationships. Like, that's like a big part of the conversation. And it's like, how are you homeless or facing homelessness and you worried about a man? Like, that's just weird to me. Like, I don't know. A lot of times when we're preoccupied with the opposite sex in that way, um, it keeps us further and further away from our goal. What up, cases and cams? You know? So I think too, like when people are going through tough times and trauma and not trauma, but tragic things, crises, and we're still so consumed with getting that fix, all it's gonna do is really keep you further away from accomplishing your goal, you know? Yeah, I gotcha. And maybe then people should be asking God for the reparations, right? Who are you talking about? Black people that want reparations, or the J6 that President Trump is gonna give? I tell you what, y'all, that man continues. That man, just politics in general, and I'm not even the left and the right, the red or the blue. Child, the Dems and them people don't give a damn. Not only is Trump giving the J6 some money, a slap in the face for those of us who deserve reparations in this country. Um, it's a slap in the face just to the American citizens in general. I mean, everybody's struggling. What they say, Cisco just laid off 1,400 people. Um, who else just laid off some people? Somebody else just laid off 800 or 8,000. Some big corporation. I mean, these people are getting, everybody's struggling. I mean, when you see pretty little white women, young, crying online, 'cause they can't afford groceries. What happened to the 2 grand that Trump said he was gonna give everybody? I'm still waiting on that 2,000 rebate check. When he promised that like a year ago. So I'm just like, what a slap in the all this money that's being allotted to renovations in the White House and reparations for the J6. It's like, wow, you got people out here struggling. Even poor white folk, and Trump still don't give a damn. That's how you know. Whew. That's why we got to band together. I mean, at the end of the day now, at the end of the day, redneck white people and black people, look, we can all band together and burn it down. At some point, we got to be, we got to work together. We fighting each other. Meanwhile, the whole world is crumbling. We can all just be working together and just stop buying anything, figuring it out. Man. And marching ain't gonna do it, by the way. That's right. God is orderly. He's not an agent of chaos. Look at Case and Cam got me on the TV. How I look, Cases? How I look? I keep telling y'all this TV. So anything you put on this app is gonna be in the webosphere forever. It's gonna be in somebody's server. And it can resurface at any time. And the wrong person might get it. So be careful. Be careful what you're saying, what you do. Okay? Because I do judge, unfortunately. We gon' watch and we gon' judge. And some people gonna react to it. So don't be mad when somebody start reacting to your ignorance. You really just can't be mad. I'm sorry. Probably not truly yours, but one can hope. Oh, meta laid off. Okay. It's sad chain of events. It's an everyday occurrence with them folks. Yep. They hate us too. Yeah. Everybody getting it. Everybody getting it, yo. From every angle. And it's just really, that's why we just gotta stay prayed up and just do the best that we can with what we got. But when we're going through these tough times, when we are lacking, when our health starts declining, when we don't have enough food to eat, when we just got laid off, you have to seek Him. A lot of times God is just waiting for you to come to Him, but instead we think we can do it ourselves and fix it and beg and borrow and steal and rob Peter to pay Paul, or literally go out and rob Peter. You know what I'm saying? Like, no. Sometimes if you just ask, humble yourself enough, obedience, have faith. And I'm just like, it's really like that golden ticket that people a lot of times just don't consider. And I'm just like, you gotta know that there is a God, right? Like, how can you wake up and hear birds and see leaves blowing and feeling the wind and all of the elements of the earth and not think that there is not an entity that created all of this? Like, I'd be like, you know, I don't know. And so that's another thing. Like, I don't argue with people that don't believe in God, because you're a fool. The multinational corporations are always passing the cost onto the consumer, whether it's an oil crisis or whatever. And the supermarket chains be driving up inflation and shrinking down all the products. Yep. Yep. There was a company that reported its highest earnings ever while simultaneously laying off the 8,000 people, I think. I said, wow. So rather than dispersing those profits amongst people that help your business run, you just decided to let them go. Got it. What up, Anthony Domingo? Okay, I'm glad you Hispanic. Thanks for letting me know. Oh, he from the Bronx. Your opinion would be great black woman for presidency between Kamala or Michelle. They're both strong indeed. I beg to differ, Anthony Villadomingo. But that's a conversation for a whole nother day. Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Thank you, Jesus is King. There's enough hate in the world without us contributing to it. I know that's right. What's good, Lee Turner? How you doing? You caught me on the tail end, darling. I'm about to get on off of here. That was so sweet of you. You did not have to do that, but I appreciate it. Thank you, Lee Turner. How are you doing this evening? What are you up to? Did you have possum or chitlins for dinner? Mm, I am. Ooh, Lee Turner, I had the longest day, bruh. Like, physically and emotionally draining. But it was for a good cause. I was very, very productive. I got a lot of things done. I knocked out like 3 important things that I needed to do. But I am extremely tired, yeah. And I have to get up at 7, so I should be winding down. Blinky says a supermarket chain in my country had owned employee wages. Wait, supermarket chain had owed employees' wages while the CEO gave himself a $2.5 million bonus in the last year since he got the sake for ripping off people and the employees. There's a lot of corruption in the world. People are just evil and greedy, and Oh, okay. That sounds good. Baked chicken and collard greens. I had greens tonight. Greens, macaroni, salad, sweet potatoes, and some potato salad. All on one plate. But that sounds real good, Lee Turner. So yeah, I'm gonna get on off of here. I feel bad because you sent me a $2 super chat and now I'm leaving you, Lee. But I got to go. I got to wash my arse. I had a friend from Beaufort, North Carolina, and he used to say arse downstairs, but there's that one right there. It's still alive and kicking. I haven't gotten rid of it yet. It's still around. How do you know that's fake? How you gonna tell me what's in my house? Bio, I don't know how to say that. Okay, Mo. Syllables. Bio Teatrick. Whoop, there it is. You have a good evening too, Blinky Minky. Thank you so much for your contribution on this chat tonight. I appreciate you. Make sure you come on back now. Okay. Lee Turner, it's not. Okay. It's not. It's not. I am. Peace.